Hey guys, this is Anastasia, and this video is for my full moon incense for the cold moon, which is the December full moon. Traditionally, the December full moon is called the cold moon because this is the time of the year when nights are cold, they are longer, they the days well, they are shorter and they seem very much shorter. For me, I go into work before the sun has risen and I do not leave until well after the sun has set. It's just kind of how the days are during this month. And I really feel like the moon connects to that energy, just kind of that slowness of the days and almost kind of a draining feeling. I think the social climate also adds to that. During this time of the year, we have the winter solstice, which is connects to the Sabbath of Yule. So we have, even in paganism, you have that gift-giving tradition. I know I, for one, do practice secular Christmas, especially with having a 5-year-old. That's not, it's something I enjoy doing as well. But and Yule is my favorite. Yule and Samhain are my two favorite Sabbats, absolutely. But along with me loving them, they are also extremely hectic and crazy, and it takes a lot of energy out of you to get things accomplished that feel like they need to be accomplished. If you step back and look at things, no, absolutely not. You don't need to kill yourself making gifts or buying gifts or doing anything. But this time of year kind of lends itself to extra activity. And if I really think about it, for me, I'm the type of personality where I like to keep moving. I like to keep active. So during this time of year when it's kind of quieter and the days are kind of shifting and I'm not able to go outside and connect to nature that way, I tend to, I don't want to say busy myself because that sounds like what I do isn't meaningful, but that's in essence what it is. It's suddenly I need to make all these different crafts and I need to shop for all of these different gifts and I need to do all of these different things. And I mean each and every one of them. They signify something different for me. They have a place in my heart and a place in my life. But one does need to pause at a certain point and really ask themselves, am I doing this because this is genuinely something that I feel called to do, or is this something that I just feel is what you do during this time of year? And I think all of that hullabaloo kind of adds to the draining effect that this time of year has on many people, including myself at times. So during this moon, it's kind of a time to acknowledge that the energies are slow. We deal a lot with the cold and the dark, but as we do so, we also need to remember the balance that while the cold signifies the lack of energy in every way, we also remember that burst of energy is right around the corner. Just as much as Yule is the longest night of the year, and we really kind of delve into those themes of cold and dark and long and kind of dreary almost. We need to remember that it's also the rebirth of the sun at this point. So from this point forward, the days are going to start creeping along and getting longer and longer and longer. And then we'll reach Ostara where there's that balance. And then boom, before we know it, Beltane will be here and the days are going to be longer than the nights. So that energy is rebuilding from this point forward. It's a good time for candle magic or fire magic. Light signifies hope, new beginnings, and that's again, where we kind of feed into that winter solstice or Yule connection. This year especially, and I think that it's mostly because of all that I learned last year through embracing things that I don't normally embrace, like silence and quiet. This year, Samhain really brought about messages of, take notice of what it is that you have in this life. It's great to focus on the hereafter. It's great to think of your spiritual connection. It's great to work with your inner being. But it is about balance. It is about understanding that magic, as cliche as it sounds, and I realize it sounds horrifyingly cliche, it is all around us. I mean, every day you can walk down the street and a gust of wind hits you a certain way, and suddenly you feel this surge of energy. And to me, that's magic. That's something that some people would feel and they wouldn't give a second thought to. But for those that do take that time to acknowledge that shift of energy or that changing of the environment, that's a very powerful thing, I think. And Samhain was very much about, yes, delve into the spiritual world, yes, delve into the magic and the mysticism, but don't ever forget the joy that you can get and the fulfillment and satisfaction that there is to gain just from living your life in the physical realm, in and as it of itself. There is something so incredibly magical about being a mother, but it isn't always this mystical meaning underneath it all. A lot of times it is something as simple as a simple laugh, and it doesn't need to be more than that. That having a great day can simply be having a great day. And I hope that makes sense to someone other than myself. Otherwise, I'm just yammering for no reason. But that was very much what Samhain meant. What Samhain held for me this year was a lot of the, yes, delving into the dark is good. Delving into the inner space and kind of embracing that water element is needed. Very much in my life, especially. But as I'm doing that, I have a tendency to forget about the physical, forget about the land that lies beyond the water. And perhaps that's why water's always been so scary to me, because I know if I delve, I'll delve too deep, and so I stay away. And now I'm trying to embrace that element and embrace that side of things, that kind of unknown, but there needs to be that balance. And I think that's what Yule and the cold moon kind of harkens to as well. But something that I've always kind of felt during this time of year is, yes, we have the dark, yes, we have the cold, yes, we have the dreary, but let's start rebuilding that energy. Let's fight against it by putting all these intentions and energies into the rebuilding of energy. And I think that's important, and I think that's great, but I'm really feeling this year kind of an embracing of the slowing down, an embracing of kind of letting it just be dark and that be okay, letting it be cold, letting it be kind of that quiet, and embracing that and being cool with that, and not fighting and kind of rallying against the dark to welcome the light and try to bring forth back into the light, but simply honoring that. And I think those are energies and themes that I really think about so much more at Mabon or the autumnal equinox, and definitely at Samhain. But Yule comes and I usually am like, all right, let's let the sun be reborn. Let's do this. Let's bring that light back into the world. And this year, I'm kind of feeling this, instead of trying to feed all these energies and push myself to ready things for the rebirth of the sun, and the god coming, being reborn, and the goddess kind of retreating to the underworld till Imbolc, what I'm feeling is more so honoring that transition a bit more, focusing perhaps a bit more on the goddess during this time of year, because for me, this time of year is very much God energy, Cernunnos energy. It's the rebuilding of that and re-energizing to get ready for that rebirth. And this year, it's much more about take that step back. Don't push yourself to go at this hectic pace and kind of recharge and force this thing to happen, but instead take a step back and see what it is around you and embrace the energies that are around you, whether they be slow, whether they be cold, or maybe you are energized just naturally during this time of year. Certainly someone who lives, in California is going to have a very different opinion or connection to this time of year than me in Minnesota here. And even here in Minnesota today, I think it was 60, which is beautiful for us. So it's just, for me this year, I feel a desire to, yes, continue to protect the energy, continue to kind of keep that energy going, but not have it be a forced thing, not have it be such a pushed thing, but instead acknowledge what is around you and honor that and embrace that and let that show you what it is that it has to show you. Because again, Mabon and Samhain are very much my times of the year to look at the dark and see what lessons it has. But the dark in winter is going to teach me very different things than the dark in autumn. I oftentimes kind of feel that crone energy so much during the autumn, but then when we shift to winter, it kind of goes to this masculine energy. And I feel like last year, the crone was so important to me, but she has even more to teach me this year. But I need to not try to push her out of the picture and focus so much on the solar energy, and instead embrace that lunar and that feminine and that dark in a way. So I really went into the creation of this moon incense with that in mind. Also, the cold moon this year is on December 3rd, which is Sunday. It is in Gemini. During the Gemini, when moons are in Gemini, people tend to feel strong emotional sensitivity. There is that need for socialization. Gemini is an air sign. Air, for me at least, definitely connects to communication. Impulse is kind of a thing at this point. So maybe slow down and really question and analyze and understand, why are you doing things? Are you maybe jumping to conclusions? Magical themes to look into are communication and curiosity. Also, Mercury retrograde, I believe, is going to be starting on December 3rd. We kind of have this shadow period coming up, but a storm period is going to be hitting us soon. So another time to maybe have that question and that analyzation, am I getting upset about something that I don't really need to get upset about? Is this really is this maybe a misunderstanding and I should just take a moment? So with all those things in mind, the incense that I made, which is here, and I don't want to touch the glass too much because it's a new bowl and it might fall and stuff, and yeah. But the herbs I used specifically for the cold moon were mint, to promote energy, communication, vitality, protection of the home, also to bring in good spirits, cloves for protection, to banish hostile and negative forces, especially around this time of year. We do have depression as a thing. It's and it seems to hit us so much harder during this point of the year, at least me. It kind of hits me more, so I definitely wanted to put in some banishing of that negativity. Cloves also help with gaining what is sought. Good for stopping gossip. Purify. It helps to raise positivity and good vibrations. Brings a sense of kinship to a social gathering. I thought that would be a good energy to ride in. Mental clarity, I thought would be very important. It also helps to comfort and cleanse aura, and as well as attract riches. I included parsley for calming and protecting the home. That's very important during the winter years, or winter months, that whole cabin fever and climbing the walls. It helps encourage a sense of well-being, increases strength. It helps to get one, if you feel like you're in a rut, it helps to kind of get you past that point. It's good for purification and gratefulness. And then the last herb I chose was lemon verbena. Prevent bad dreams. I've been really struggling with that personally, so that was a personal choice in there. Increase effect of other herbs and oils in the mixture. It helps with beauty, helps to purify, and connects oneself with your inner child. I thought that was especially important with Yule. That's kind of my fun. I love to connect to my daughter during this time of year especially, and I thought that would be a good thing. As far as the Lunar Blend, and my phone looks like my battery is dying out, so I'm going to try to hurry up and get through this. Liang Liang, which I really wanted to use for peace and balance. Rose for courage and strength, as well as love and connection to the divine. Lily of the Valley, it is good for soothing, calming, it draws peace and tranquility, empowers happiness and mental powers. Poppy, above many other things, it is good for abundance. Also pleasure. Again, I think it's just embracing some of the energy of the year, and some of that is just having fun and being around those that you love. Maybe it's not family, maybe it is friends, maybe it's a significant other, maybe it is your children. Whatever it is, just embrace that pleasure. Don't hustle through it. Be one with it. Gardenia, which is a usual one for me. Cherry wood I used for gaiety, happiness, direction, frugality, maybe. Watching the money. Revitalization of magical energy needed to finish an old project. That's something that I struggle with a lot. I start getting into things and then they kind of fall to the wayside, and I like that, and that added. Blessed thistle to renew vitality, strengthen spirit. Catnip for attracting good spirits and luck, love, happiness. Again, protection while sleeping. And then I also used sandalwood and vanilla oil. Sandalwood was mostly protection, healing, manifestation, meditation, facilitates concentration, and then vanilla for restoring lost energy and increasing energy while strengthening mental abilities. So that's what I have charging here. I've got my crystal quartz point, my moonstone, my rainbow moonstone, and my selenite. And it's all there. It burns beautifully. It kind of has a woodsy scent, as well as very floral. A lot of floral in this one. But yeah, so that is my incense. I'm going to burn it on December 3rd, and I just thought I would share. I'm going to kind of get all the makeup for lost time and get all the other moon incense things up on those playlists. So be looking out for that. And thank you guys for checking this out. Have a good night. Blessed be.